Good morning, everyone, and welcome into the HearSports Podcast Show. I'm Kyle Newman, your host.
And I'm Rhett Hensley, your co-host.
Who can't stop laughing, apparently. On this show, anything sports goes, whether professional, college, or even high school. Debate is highly likely. Laughter is always encouraged. Good times is a given, and hashtag great sports talk will be a reoccurring theme. Today we will talk about the NBA offseason news becoming a tradition with Rhett, Ronda Rousey's career, which is a new tradition apparently, top 5 high school basketball recruits of 2015, and the top 5 tight ends in the NFL this upcoming season. Sorry, everyone, that it's so late and we're a day off. Our schedules have been rather hectic, and we couldn't do last week's show because of it. We were barely able to make this show this week, but you know, that happens sometimes. But Rhett, you're up. It's good to be back. How are you doing this early morning?
Oh man, I'm like a peach in a peach tree.
James and the Giant Peach, we'll call him.
Yes. What about you, Mr. Newman?
I'm doing great. I really am.
We're good.
It's been an eventful summer, but it's been a good one, and I'm glad that we can continue the show. What is that, Rhett?
Have you hit anything lately?
Well,
squirrel,
I hit a golf ball today in the simulator, and I got to tell you, I think I found my drive.
I bet you did.
That's right. Have you hit anything lately? A growth spurt?
Buddy, I'm 6'3". We don't need another growth spurt.
Okay, let's not exaggerate. Everyone, he's 6'1" at best.
No, I'm not.
He likes to give himself too much credit.
6'2" and 3/4, people. 6'2" and 3/4. But, you know, I did play some basketball today, and then I hit up the driving range. What can I say? An eventful day? I think so.
Well, apparently. That's not bad. That's not bad, Rhett, for a day. And, you know, that's what we like to hear. We should be having eventful days here this summer, and hopefully we will have an eventful show here.
Exactly.
As we've got a full hour of some great segments, and Rhett, we're going to kick it off with a tradition you've started. So you're going to take this away here, and you're going to talk about some NBA free agency. So what's been happening lately?
Well, what's been happening is, you know, we might as well start out with Indiana Pacers, buddy.
That's right, our favorite squad.
You know, Jordan Hill. Jordan Hill got arrested going 107 miles an hour on on the interstate in Atlanta, Georgia. What can I say? That is just pathetic. At its best, I do not like the start of that. Him coming to Indiana Pacers and making a mockery. But, you know, everybody makes mistakes. So
it's unfortunate that the Pacers' new signee in Jordan Hill, there's a lot of high hopes for here. One of the bigger offseason moves has made a mistake quickly, what it was. People make mistakes. He made one. It was pretty early. I obviously don't like it. I don't know what he's thinking going that fast at that time and everything, but clearly wasn't. Not good, but hopefully he can learn from this mistake for the Pacers.
Exactly. You know, that's just one thing I'd like to touch on. And, you know, if we're going to head over to the west side, I would like to talk about Kobe Bryant.
Who doesn't want to talk about Kobe Bean Bryant?
Kobe Bryant with the comment today of, we're getting in the playoffs.
I love it.
Now, there has been talk of him becoming a power forward. Kyle, please, give me your thoughts.
It's ridiculous. He can hardly play the small forward position whenever he would play that. I mean, he's a shooting guard. To move him to a small, he's even undersized when he plays small forward. Power forward is asinine. That would make no sense. He doesn't have the height for it. He doesn't have the build for it. And, he's too old at this point, so he'd struggle defensively. Wouldn't be good. Let's put it that way. Now, one thing I will say about Kobe Bryant is I did just recently see the man might not make this his last year. I don't know if you heard that, Rhett, but I saw on SportsCenter today that Kobe Bryant is considering another contract option after this year. That he might be the Brett Favre of the NBA and not know when to give it up.
I think if he has a very healthy season, I think that he should definitely consider that. But if he's not healthy, then I think it's just time to pass it in and give it up because you don't want your name to go down the tube.
You don't.
So
you definitely don't. How about Sean Marion, the veteran, retiring from the NBA? He's done. Last year, he's going to finish his career in Cleveland, unfortunately. But I found that pretty interesting. Had a pretty solid career. I remember him mostly for his time in Phoenix, all those years that he was killing it with Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire. It's a pretty solid career for him. And, at 36 years old and 15 years played in the NBA, it's about time. About time. What'd you think about that, Rhett?
Well, Sean Money-Making Marion, what can you say? Worst shot I've ever seen in my life. But, the dude could find his way. He was a halfway decent player. Didn't like seeing him shoot, that's for sure. But I hate to see him retire as a Cleveland Cavalier.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Cleveland Cavaliers, Kyle, they still have not signed J.R. Smith and Tristan Thompson.
I know.
Those are the two remaining free agents that they have not yet signed. And, it's going to be interesting because I thought LeBron wasn't going to sign unless they got the big name in the free agency, Tristan Thompson.
Well, he's very confident that he will. Apparently they have the same agent, from what I've read, and that goes a long way. I'm sure they have a very good relationship and that they've had very good discussions, and it's part of the plan. Just give it some more time. Into August now. Happy August, everyone, by the way. Boy, is summer flying by. But that's what you have as you get closer and closer to the start of the season. Rhett, just think about it. Hard to believe, but we're just over 2 months away from the start of the NBA season. If that doesn't get you excited, then what does? The Indiana Pacers are going to be back. Finally.
I know. We're going to have to hit up some games.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will. There's been some other moves out there. Apparently the Cavs are reaching out to Tayshaun Prince. Spent his whole career in Detroit. I don't see him leaving. But they are trying to get him. That will be
he played for Memphis for a while.
That's right. He did. But he would be a player that it wouldn't surprise me if the Cavs make something like that happen. That's what they kind of like to do, get those add-on veterans to help that team. But 13 years in the NBA, majority of his career with Detroit, that would be – I don't see it happening, but it could. I mean, Detroit is his old team here that he was on, and I don't know if he'll be going back or not.
And Kyle, here is the latest news. Ray Allen open to making a comeback.
Yeah, I saw that.
Could that be interesting?
It would, and
could
he's
it happen?
Capable of it. Yes, it could happen, but quite honestly, I hope it doesn't because I don't care for the guy.
Would it be a good move or a bad move for him?
Depends on where he would go. If he went to a team like the Cavs, it would be a good move because he'd be back with LeBron and be able to be, in addition to just come in and hit three-pointers. And I think that's what he'll do with any team. But it has to be the right team for him if it would be a completed comeback. Certainly, he'd have to come in and play that right role, not looking to play 30 minutes a game like a starter. I mean, at his point in his career, I mean, the guy's got to take it easy. That I did see that, though. Very interesting, for sure. How about back to the Pacers? Glenn Robinson III signs a 3-year deal with Indiana. I like this, Rhett, a lot. I saw a lot of him at Michigan. What do you think about this signing?
Well, I think it could be good for him. I think that he's probably going to get sent down to the D-League for a little bit. But I think he's somebody that could end up, really helping them in the long run and getting this good group of young players surrounding the Indiana Pacers. It could help. It could be in their favor. It's taking a chance on him, but it's not that big of a risk.
No.
Might as well sign somebody that could be decent.
Exactly.
Take a chance. Take
Definitely.
a chance.
That's definitely what.
And we're due.
They did.
We're due definitely for a taking a risk and it paying off.
You better believe it. You better believe it. The New Orleans Pelicans signed Kendrick Perkins to a 1-year deal. That was very, very intriguing to me. First of all, I can't stand the guy. Second of all, it's his 12th year in the league. He's 30 years old, and I don't think it will do much to the Pelicans, especially. They have Anthony Davis. He'd come in off the bench, and he didn't do much for the Cavs last year. What do you think about that signing, Rhett?
Oh, he did nothing for the Cavs last year. I believe that he actually warmed the bench, gave LeBron a nice cushion when he got done playing. But I don't think he's going to help at all. They got Anthony Davis there. They don't need him.
No,
they don't need him. Highly doubt he'll play.
I agree with that. The Cavs, sticking on them, they seem to just have enough money to keep getting these veterans, but they signed a 1-year. They signed Richard Jefferson to a 1-year deal. What do you think about that?
Oh, Richard Jefferson. Is it time to retire or what?
14 years in the NBA,
Good
35 years old. It might be.
Yeah, I think it's definitely time to retire. But, he's still got that fight. I haven't heard about him in a long time, and I did see that he signed with them. I don't know if it's really going to help. I think it's going to be one of those things where he's more of a mentor on the bench than anything.
Yeah, it's a good point. Veterans can have that tendency to really to help out that way. What else you have? What else you have for us, Rhett?
Well, Kevin, I'm about to butcher his name.
Mbamute?
No, Kevin Serpin. Actually, I think I got that right.
Wow, that was a real challenge.
Hey, shut up. He agreed to a 1-year deal for $2.8 million with the New York Knicks. Is that going to help them? Probably not. But, it's a decent signing for him.
Yeah, a lot of talks I keep hearing, and I just don't believe it, but that the Knicks are going to be vastly improved, and I don't see it.
Yeah, I think that they could come. I think that they're going to be shooting all around that 8th seed spot, but I don't think they're going to get it, But it sure would be interesting because I do like a nice rivalry with the Indiana Pacers and the Knickerbockers.
Yeah, who doesn't? Boy, classic. Reggie, come back. Yeah, basically that kind of, at least from my end here, is what I've seen that's been recent off-season news. Right? Obviously, we mentioned Jordan Hill getting in trouble, but what else did you have? And you mentioned Serapin, which was the more recent one. What else did you? I do have something else I'm seeing here. Dante Exum suffered a knee injury with the Australian national team. This was the Jazz's high hope draft pick of this past year. It's unfortunate, right? But it's things like this where teams take a risk on players that just you get the feeling won't pan out, but yet they draft them so high. And this was kind of one of those guys. It's like Joel Embiid.
You don't like
I saw
him?
Greg Oden in there. No, I don't like him all that much. I think
he's a decent player.
I don't think he'll pan out, and it's just really unfortunate that this knee injury occurred because this is all it takes for it to go downhill.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Things can happen. I think that he'll come back pretty decent. And what kind of injury I know it was a knee injury, but what happened with that?
All I've got is it was a left knee injury.
Because I believe
more specifics.
Was it him or what's his name? Plays for the Celtics. Let's see, Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart suffered a hand injury. That's who I was thinking of. I was thinking, wow, that's unfortunate for Dante Exum, but it was Marcus Smart that I was thinking of that suffered a hand injury. So I believe he's having surgery on it. So, these guards going down.
Indeed they are.
Indeed, like Embiid.
And wow, he pulled one out there. There are a couple other bit of news here that we should mention here that's been going on. Apparently, Derrick Rose has not decided if he's going to be participating with USA in the camp. That's interesting. He's done it his whole career, and yes, there's been talks that he may not.
Good choice.
Yeah, I guess for his sake.
It's a good choice. They definitely just got LeBron James to do it, and they got Paul George. So I think they're going to be in good hands.
In the end, it really won't make a difference for Team USA.
Yeah,
because they're so deep at every position. But I did find that unexpected from Derrick Rose, who's always been a part of it. But you know what? He's always had that track record of getting injured.
Yeah, I think it's more of a smarter thing than anybody. So, one thing I would like to touch on is the Morris brothers. The Markieff Morris is, he is still remaining with the Suns. Is that right? Markieff Morris.
Mm-hmm.
And Marcus Morris took to Twitter calling the Suns fans bandwagon fans.
Wow.
Yes, and I believe he's just salty, Kyle.
It sounds
salty
like
that they traded him away from his brother. And he did come out and say, but there are rumors saying that they need to get rid of Markieff Morris from the Suns, just because it could cause bad publicity for him.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I didn't want the Pacers to end up pursuing a player like that, because of his attitude and the type of chemistry issues that can arise from that. And that's what his persona gives off, and clearly we're seeing it.
Well, Kyle, the Indiana Pacers did just sign somebody that got arrested for going 107 miles an hour. So
isn't that unfortunate?
I guess we called that one wrong.
Yeah, well, we'll see how how much things get better from here. Let's say, if time heals everything with Jordan Hill, a quick mistake, obviously, but speeding like you do every single day. I guess the man just happened to get caught going down a cornfield road. No, not a cornfield road in Atlanta, probably through the city. It's one of those things where he just wasn't
zooming past those cars.
Just wasn't thinking. Now, I do want to say this before we get to the next segment. This is something different, but this is massive money. I don't know if you heard this, Rep, but James Harden received a $200 million offer from Adidas. Yes, the original Adidas that Kobe Bryant started his career out with. He's received this endorsement offer for 13 years, $200 million. Insane money. His deal with Nike's expired, and he has until the end of the week to match this offer. Rhett, I'd like to see it. You don't like James Harden. I do. I kind of like a fresh face with a brand like Adidas. But, I mean, who in the heck would turn down that amount of money?
I would. I hate Adidas.
Yeah, well, you're psycho.
Well, actually, I'd only turn that down if Nike didn't offer me.
Yeah, exactly.
Offer something. But, yeah, I can't stand Adidas. So, and I don't like James Harden, so power to him. Go over there. I don't care. Send him over there. I won't wear a shoe anyway. I like Derrick Rose, but I won't wear his shoe either.
I will. I love his shoes.
Yeah,
Done me well. Done me well. They definitely would be in good hands getting James Harden. If there's one thing that's for sure, that would be, from a marketing standpoint, phenomenal for Adidas to try and bounce back.
Yeah,
so
and that's good with their they're trying to re-promote their brand. They're trying to revamp it.
Yes,
so
they are.
I think adding them would probably help their business. That's
probably
for sure.
So. And this is, I guess, one last thing, but this will be it officially. And we'll talk more about this along with the Jordan Hill arrest on the Pacers show tomorrow or later tonight. But
redoing of the locker room.
No.
Okay.
Nice try, right? The Indiana Pacers purchased the D-League's Fort Wayne Mad Ants. They were the lone independent affiliate. What do you think about this, Rhett?
I think it's great, man. I think it's great. Finally, the Indiana Pacers are not one of those teams that are hanging, out crowded because everybody else has what they have. There's 11 other teams that don't have D-League teams now.
That's
and
right.
The Indiana Pacers are not one of those. I think it's phenomenal.
It is.
It can really help.
Absolutely.
And, since I already went ahead and spoiled the news, the Pacers are revamping their locker rooms.
There you go. I guess that'll be the final thing.
Redoing it all. So, yes, Kyle. I think we're cleaned up on that one.
Yes, we are. Cleaned up, shipped out, and ready for the next one. And that one's a different one. We're going in a different direction, and we haven't been in a direction like this on this show yet. But I'm excited to get into this segment with you, Rhett. We're talking about a full-blown killer. And that would be a female killer, who I will mention because it is worth mentioning. This woman is exactly my same height, and she is exactly my same weight.
And she's my love.
And apparently Red has a crush on her. Her name is Ronda Rousey, and she is Rousey. Let me tell you something. This woman absolutely is an animal, and I'm going to look forward to talking here about this. Let's get into it. First of all, why don't you just, obviously this woman, she's undefeated. All right, folks. She's got 12 wins and no losses in her career. She's had 3 knockouts, 9 submissions.
9 submissions by armbar.
Yes. Incredible stuff. This 28-year-old out of Glendale, Arizona, right near the Phoenix area where my brother currently lives. Beautiful there. This woman she doesn't fight beautiful. She may have an attractive appearance, but she's ruthless. And
I'd have her babies.
And the beautiful. Okay, getting a little personal there, Rhett. But the bottom line is, she is an animal, and
she has one fight that lasted 3 rounds, and that's it.
It's just insane.
The rest are one-rounders.
Talk about her last fight, Rhett, that you watched the whole thing through, and it didn't take very long.
Oh, talking about kind of frustrating. You sit there. You start watching the UFC fights at 9 o'clock thinking, ooh, Rousey's on at 11:55. Yes. It's probably going to be about 10 minutes lap over. No. Sucker didn't start till 1:24. Finally gets there after I fell asleep one time. I'm like, oh, man, there she is. I'm all hyped up, seeing Beth Correa running around the ring. Now this is funny. She looked like a WWE person, running around the ring, doing her little dances, hyped up, saying that she's going to retire undefeated. Then Rousey steps in the ring. It was personal to her.
35 seconds.
34.
Pretty personal.
Yes, what a great fight on my birthday.
Yeah.
What
absolutely.
can I say?
Happy birthday, Red. He got to see his crush someone. Pun intended.
Oh, yes.
Always.
Great, Kyle. But, seeing her, it's like effortless to her. She literally just went in there and takes care of business that quick. I'm going to give you a rundown of the times that it's taken in the past 3 fights. Actually, might as well go ahead and make an even number. 4 fights.
Beautiful.
All right. The last one that just happened against Beth, whatever Kyle said.
Korea.
Korea. First round, 34 seconds. All right. Why do these people have such hard names? Kat Zingano.
Kat Zingano.
There you go.
I'll just be the translator here, folks.
14 seconds. Submission by armbar. All right. Alexis Davis. Had somebody in my class named that one time. 16 seconds. KO punch out. All right. Then
punch
Sarah
out or knock out, Rhett. I suggest you never say punch out again. We're not at work, all right? Oh, jeez.
Punch out. I love it. Punch out.
Oh, I guess
we're
Rhett's
at Chuck E. Cheese and we're punching it out.
Yeah, that's
all right.
Rhett's catchphrase.
Sarah McMahon. 1 minute and 6 seconds. TKO, knee to the body. No punch out this time. What a great... the past 4 fights, it's like nothing. Nothing is compared to that. Will we ever see this? Like, is this girl the best fighter that has ever, walked this face of the earth? I think so.
For a woman, yes. No doubt about it.
Yes, for a woman.
She is the top, the cream of the crop. I mean,
Kyle.
The bottom line is...
Who can she fight now? This girl was the only one that is, worth something.
Yeah, well, that's what's amazing about it is she's on this roll, and there's nobody that can challenge her. She's literally the dominant, the peak of the career, and she's got nobody to fight. I'll tell you who she needs to fight. It's time to go over to the other sex. It's time to go over to the other side, and it's time for her to fight Floyd Mayweather. I would love to see it. You have no idea the publicity that would draw.
Oh,
that would be one incredible fight. Now, let me tell you something, and I had a little debate here with a buddy about this. That whole idea, he was like, okay, well, what type of fight they going to have? If it's a boxing fight, she doesn't stand a chance. But if it's UFC and she can take down, well, that's her craft. So, yeah, she would have a chance. And I agree with him when he says that because it's 2 different sports, really, ultimately, and 2 different fighting styles. But I'll tell you what, she's as tough as a man. So the fact that, she wouldn't be strong enough to beat Floyd Mayweather, that I would not agree with. She is.
Now,
she's
Kyle,
ruthless.
What are the chances of Floyd Mayweather actually fighting her?
Not good because I don't think that he's going to even end up fighting Manny Pacquiao again. The man's going to go out, by the way, this weekend against a fighter who is against a fighter who's not going to even compete with him, and that's how he's going to end his career, supposedly, with a guy who's not even close to being a competitor in this in a match, and that's how it's going to go out. Fortunately, she threw some shots out at him to try and make it happen, which is another thing I love. She's confident, but she backs it up clearly. But, as a professional, a master of your craft at your sport, she ranks up there with all the greats in all of professional sports. I mean, she is the Peyton Mannings of the NFL. She is the LeBron James of the NBA. I mean, she is, when you think UFC women, I'll tell you what, I think that it's becoming, not only is you think of UFC women, you think of her. People might start thinking UFC, they think of her, even over the male UFC fighters. That's how dominant she's becoming. And she's becoming like a marketing genius and the face of the sport, men or women.
Yeah, exactly. And, I have a question for you, another one, Kyle.
What's that?
What are the chances of her fighting a no-name male fighter in the UFC? Just because there's no competition
that she'll be a
left.
barrier. I think she will be the first female athlete in the boxing UFC sport to take on the opposite sex because she needs a challenge. I see it happen.
Exactly. There's nobody left there. So I'm thinking,
it's going to happen.
It's going to be a great I think that there's going to be a no-name fighter that wants to fight Ronda Rousey because the publicity is just going to be insane.
Exactly.
And that could possibly spark their career.
Exactly. She is in the bantamweight class in the UFC. She can fight a lightweight, a featherweight to lightweight in the UFC male class who will be about the same size as her. Same reach. She's got a 66-inch reach. That's pretty darn decent for a woman of that size. So I see it happening. I'm calling that right now. I'm going on record. I'm going to say within the next 18 months, Ronda Rousey will be fighting a male fighter in UFC. And I'd love to see it be a boxer like Floyd Mayweather, but I see it. I'm calling it, Rhett. She will fight a male fighter. She'll break that barrier. What do you think?
Oh, I think it's going to happen. My love is going to be fighting a male.
Googly eyes over here. Can't get that out of...
Oh, yeah. I love me some Rousey. Definitely love some Rousey. So, I think that's definitely going to happen. Do I think that she's going to win? I think there's a great possibility.
Yes, he does.
And if that happens, how amazing would that be?
It'd be one of the greatest
woman
things for
fighters.
Sports.
I can tell you right now, it would more than likely, bring more ratings than I think any fight has in the past 10 years.
That type of history making would go down as one of probably the greatest in all of sports for accomplishments.
And
it really
I'm
would.
gonna tell you right now, I just followed her on Instagram. Have to direct message her with googly eyes. But I think she's gonna be the first one to ever beat a male fighter, and I think it's gonna be great. Now that poor guy that actually has to sit there and see that. So that poor guy, it'd be embarrassing, but it would be funny.
It would. I'm gonna, as we kind of wrap this segment up, Rhett, I've got I read an interesting article here, just to put that puts it into perspective how fast she has finished these fights. Her speed. You want to talk about all you want with Floyd Mayweather and his speed? How about Ronda Rousey's speed? All right, this is just insane. Her last 4 fights, we've mentioned this, lasted a grand total of 130 seconds. That's a mere, for Rhett who can't do the math so quick, that's 2 minutes and 10 seconds. All right? To beat her last 4 fighters. She spent more time getting into the ring than she did in action over her last 4 fights. To put that into perspective, I'm going to mention some of these recent sporting accomplishments and compared that time it took to complete them to Rousey's recent run of total dominance. That 2 minutes and 10 seconds in 4 fights. Here's what else can be achieved in 130 seconds. A home run trot by Victor Martinez for the Detroit Tigers, dominant player. His home run trot takes that long.
Wow.
33 seconds. How about this? Peyton Manning, 59 Peyton Manning passes. He had the fastest average time before releasing passes last season at 2.2 seconds. So 59 passes of his fastest release is how fast she finished her last 4 fights. How about 30? J.J. Nelson's 40-yard dashes. The Arizona Cardinals rookie receiver, he had the fastest 40-yard dash time at the 2015 NFL Combine. Wow. 4.2 seconds.
Wow.
30 of those to match Rousey's time. How about Serena Williams? 1 of 19 of her shortest matches this season, and she can finish a match pretty quickly. 1/19 of Serena Williams' shortest match. 1/19.
Serena!
She beat CeCe Bellis in Miami in 41 minutes. Rousey could win 75 fights in that time with 22 seconds left over if she kept up that average in her last 4 fights. That's insane. How about this? We'll go a little off the radar here. 8.7 Matt Kenseth laps, race car driver. He rounded the oval at Bristol Speedway. The track is the world's fastest half mile in 14 seconds while winning the pole. 8.7 laps of those, equivalent to her time that she finished the last 4 fights. And here's what's really insane to me. The great NBA champion Klay Thompson, 13 Klay Thompson points. He scored the NBA record 37 points in a quarter against the Kings on January 23rd, including that one amazing stretch of 13 points in 130 seconds. Yeah, Rousey finished 4 fights in that time.
Wow.
20 and a little comparison to Floyd Mayweather, the hopeful fight. 26 Floyd Mayweather punches. Mayweather threw 36 punches per round when he beat Manny Pacquiao on May 2nd. Those boxing rounds last 3 minutes. So Floyd Mayweather would throw 26 times that he threw in his win over Manny Pacquiao. That's how fast she finished her fight. The last couple quick ones is really incredible. Either of the first 2 Triple Crown legs. American Pharoah won both the 1 1/4 mile Kentucky Derby and the Preakness in less time than Rousey's last 4 fights, but he needed an extra 16 seconds to complete the Triple Crown. That was all accomplished in the same amount of time Ronda Rousey's finished 4 fights. And even, last but not least, the great Usain Bolt. 13 100-meter races. Based on his London Olympics of 9.63 seconds, he could run a 100-meter race 13 complete times and finish that in the same amount of time Rousey finished her fights. That really puts it into perspective, right? I found that so incredibly, mind-blowing how much speed that compares to in the different accomplishments in sports. We're talking about phenomenal, incredible accomplishments here. Historical. That's what she's done these last 4 fights. Historical dominance with historical speed.
Exactly. She, her fights, ending so quick is just phenomenal. I love her.
Well, can't say much else about it. I guess we'll leave this there, that he loves her and hopes we talk about her again.
Bring her on the show, buddy.
Yeah, would be a sweet aspect for sure. But Ronda Rousey, dominant. Looking forward to seeing more of her in the future. Let's get into this next segment here, Rhett. First time we're going in this direction, too, and we're going to talk high school. We're going to talk the top 5 rated high school basketball recruits coming in 2015 here. So let's start it off, Red, at number 5. Guy by the name of Jaylen Brown out of Marietta, Georgia. 5-star, small forward, 6'7", 217, committed to Cal.
And could you say that again?
Yes, sir. Jaylen Brown is his name, out of Marietta, Georgia. He's a small forward at 6'7", 217 pounds, going to Cal Berkeley. What do you think about this man, Rhett? And one interesting aspect after we go through these top 5, I was going to kind of ask you, play a little prediction game. Who do you think ends up having the best chance at not only going into the NBA, but succeeding and being a great player? Let's start at number 5, a Jaylen Brown, Rhett. The dude's LeBron James size almost. As a senior, he's 6'7", 217 at the small forward position. That's massive.
Oh, yeah.
At his
that
age.
Is massive.
So what do you think about a Jaylen Brown and going to a team like Cal in college?
6'7",
Pac-12.
217. Holy crap! If you want to put this into perspective, Roy Hibbert weighed 240.
Yeah,
that's insane.
It truly is.
I'd like to know if that's pure muscle. That's for sure. But the prediction. Did he already go to Cal?
Yeah, he is officially signed with Cal for this year, his freshman year.
Wow, that's surprising.
Yeah, it
UK?
sure is.
UK?
Yeah, he
But,
passed UK up. Isn't that something?
UK usually gets them all.
Yeah,
But, 18
unfortunately.
years old. He's going to be 19 soon. That's usually how it follows, but I was
That's
saying
right.
he's about 2 months away. But, he's got great potential. Somebody 6'7", 217. I don't know if, in my opinion, he might be weighing a little too much. But it could play out pretty well for him. I don't know if he's going to go. I don't know. Do you think he would transition very well in the NBA after freshman year?
It seems to happen all the time when you get these great, especially in the top 5 high school recruits. A lot of them pan out. I don't know. Some don't go one and done. I could see a guy like this going one and done, but it's hard to tell. He's the number 1 player in the state. He's number 3 in the country at small forward, and he's number 4 nationally overall. I mean, this is incredible, and yet he's because of those numbers averaged out, he's the number 1 high school, or he's the number 5. I'm sorry, he's the number 5 high school recruit. That's a pretty good way to start off number 5, if you ask me.
No kidding. No
So,
kidding, Kyle.
Yeah, that'll be neat to see a guy like this and how he does at Cal in the Pac-12, passed up the SEC and some of those other monster teams. Let's see if he goes, if he ends up going and making something quickly in college and pressing the NBA. All right, Rhett. Number 4, a guy by the name of Cheek Diallo.
What a great name.
It is. Out of Center Reach, New York. This man is a power forward. He is 6'9", 218 pounds, and he is committed and signed with the Kansas Jayhawks. Not a surprise with them being a team to get a top 5 player. But what do you think about this Cheek Diallo, Rhett, and going to the Jayhawks?
I honestly don't have a good feeling about this. I think that he's going to be pretty decent in college, but I don't know if I don't know. It's something about this guy. I don't think he's going to be great in the big leagues. You have a couple stats you want to throw at me, Kyle?
Well, I'm trying to find some of these players. Their high school stats are there from their last year, and some there aren't. And I'm not finding his exactly, except this past year he was a junior All-American, and he was New York's Gatorade Player of the Year. That's a pretty high honor for sure. Here's the thing, and they have some videos on him, and
Gatorade.
A lot of these first, yeah, exactly. But one thing that he's a little small for a 6'9" power forward to be only 218 pounds. That's really thin. And I get that he's in high school still young, but you got to think, you don't like one and done into the NBA. I don't think so. I mean, this man's got to develop and get bigger for sure.
Yeah, exactly. 218 pounds as a power forward. That's more of a it's a smaller guy. If you want to look at Kevin Durant, he's like 6'10".
Yes.
Right around there. I believe he's right around 200 and some pounds. It can work. Kind of a small guy.
It could work. It's just how much of his game. The interesting thing, I wish I had some of their stats that I.
Kevin Durant, 6'9", 240. Wow.
Yeah.
And he's a power forward, or he's a shooting guard.
No kidding. So it all depends on what aspects of this man's games is developed. Can he shoot the 3? I don't know, but that's very interesting to me. And going to the Jayhawks, a guy a school who's been dominant in recruiting for years. It just seems to keep continuing to pull them out. They go from a Joel Embiid and now they got a Cheek Diallo, and it's every year that seems that they get a nice. It seems they always get a solid power forward or a center in recruiting, and then they always seem to pull off an amazing guard. It just seems to happen, and we'll see if it pans out here with this guy. But number 4 in the country, there's something right about him, so that will be great to see. Number 3, Rhett, in the country, a guy by the name of Brandon Ingram out of Kinston, North Carolina. This man is committed to Duke, unfortunately.
Good old Duke. Duke.
A small forward, 6'9", 195. So pretty undersized for a small forward at his position, at his size. Going to the Duke Blue Devils, though, Rhett. Number 3 in the country. What do you think about this?
He is a little smaller than what you'd expect, but the guy is only 17 years old. So, he has a lot of room to get bigger. Surprised Duke, actually signed him, but that he was in his senior year, he averaged 24.3 points, 10.4 rebounds per game. Tell you what, that is pretty great.
It's impressive.
He actually led Kingston to championships all 4 years. So actually, I guess I can see why they did it. But, he is a little smaller than what you'd actually think.
Yeah, he is. Those are impressive stats there, as you mentioned those, though. Any player that helps lead their team to 4 straight titles, that in the state of North Carolina, nonetheless, where basketball is everything, that's impressive. So something tells me that this man could be a one-and-done type of an ordeal, going to a team like the Duke Blue Devils, and Coach Krzyzewski knows how to get it done, Rhett, the national champions.
Coach K.
Unfortunately. But, yeah, it's going to bode well for them. I see it really working out. It'll be neat to see if he can continue those stats, though, as a freshman in college, because college is a much different game than high school level, just as the pro level is to the college level.
You don't know how somebody's going to transition.
You don't.
So,
you don't.
They might be good in high school, but also you don't see a 6'8", 198-pound player very often.
You don't.
At regular schools.
You really don't. Well, moving on here, a team that doesn't surprise me in it securing the number 2 recruit in the country, Kentucky. Even more unfortunate than Duke. It's a guarantee that they'll at least get one top 5 recruit every year, it seems, under Coach Cal. However, they cheat. They do a great job at it, I'll tell you what. But this guy, by the name of Scal Labissiere, great name.
Oh, yeah. He's from Haiti.
Yes, but he went to school in Memphis, Tennessee. This man is a center. He is 6'10", 200 pounds, and the number 2 player in the country, Rhett, going to Kentucky. What do you think about this for them?
I can't find much information about him, but what a great name, first of all. He's a 6'11", guy, 216. Definitely going to have to pack on some pounds, but also you got to think he is still in high school. So, he's going to pack on some pounds, and I think that he could be something.
Indeed, he could. I'm having a hard time finding his stats, too, what it looks like I'm able to find here back at the start of this year. I don't know if this was in the title game or of the playoffs, of the state playoffs, but he posted 22 points, 17 rebounds, and 5 blocks in their loss in the state tournament. I don't know if it's not continuing, and let me read on more if that was the title game or what, but 22 points, 17 rebounds, and 5 blocks.
Wow.
That's impressive. That's Shaq numbers.
That definitely is.
And I'm telling you right now, I'll just answer this with a quick yes. This man's going to pan out. He's going to Kentucky. Calipari is known for the one and done. He's going to get this guy ready, and he'll be in the NBA in 2 years. Mark my word. But it's just, Kentucky's going to continue to be amazing. And even though they didn't have another top 5 recruit, getting this token doesn't hurt, but they did get they got a guy at number 10. So 2 top 10 recruits. It's just impressive every year. It really is, as much as I can't stand it. But Skal Labissiere, number 2 in the country. Now this, let me tell you something that surprises me. And you want to talk about a team who gets a steal. This would not be someone you would expect to get the number 1 player to commit to them for this next year, but the LSU Tigers out of the SEC even passed up the great Kentucky Wildcats in the SEC to go to LSU. They land the top recruit in the country. The name is Ben Simmons from Monteverde, Florida. This guy's a small forward at 6'8", 220 pounds. Now this man is a baller, and he's got the size already as a 6'8", 220 small forward. At his age, it's awesome. But he's number 1 across the board on everything. Almost a perfect 5-star recruit. This guy is going to the Tigers. That first and foremost, Rhett, surprised me a bit. Got a ton of awards this next year. He got a ton of awards in high school. But what do you think about this guy?
Oh man, he's pretty decent.
I'm gonna cut you off before pretty decent. I was able to find the stats here on him this past year. 28 points, 12 rebounds, and 3 steals. That's a little better than pretty decent, if you ask me.
Yes, I was about to. Exactly. He recorded 24 double-doubles.
That's amazing in high school. That is really incredible.
Yes, that is pretty impressive. That is pretty impressive, and he's an international player. Am I right? Australian basketball player. I think he could be something.
We've seen Australian players pan out in the NBA. Dante Exum was one that you think is going to pan out. A high draft pick Australian that you like.
Exactly.
But, I know there's the great Matthew Dellavedova, who doesn't love him, who's going to certainly keep panning out. Australians have gotten it done in the NBA. This man, I'm looking at pictures of him. I'm looking forward to looking at all these top 5 recruits, seeing their high school highlights. But just looking at him in these pictures here, he is stout. The man is defined. He really, he just looks like someone.
Oh, he's got a man crush.
Yeah, he just looks like someone really who will be a killer. Immediate impact as a freshman, probably one and done for sure, and will end up probably really helping teams out. So that leads me, Rhett, as we've gone through the top 5. Out of these 5 guys, if you had to take a guy that would not just be one and done but will really pan out into the NBA that you think maybe could even, if they didn't have the rule of having to go to college for a year, that could go right to the NBA, give me your guy out of the top 5 here.
Skal? Is that right, Kyle?
Huh?
Oh gosh.
Cheikh Diallo? Are you saying Cheikh Diallo? Are you saying number? You're saying number. You 2. Are so bad at pronouncing names. Skal Labissiere. Is that who you're going with?
Skal Labissiere.
Wow. Tell me why. We're in a disagreement here. Why is it?
I don't know. I find him very impressive. I think that he's going to be pretty decent. He's obviously got to pack on some weight, but he's also going to Kentucky. I feel like he's going to be going number 1 or 2 in the draft, and he's got Calipari there.
So helps. That helps your.
Yes, I think that he's going to develop him very well, and I'm not going to say his name again because Poor guy.
I'll
I'll butcher it.
Again.
Yes.
Well, I can see it. He was my close two, and yes, it is at the top that I'm going with. Ben Simmons is the best chance that I think because he looks the most NBA ready already. That's why I'm going with Ben Simmons. Not only are his stats incredible in high school to finish with 28 points, 12 rebounds, 3 steals, and 4 assists, but the man's a 6'8", 220 small forward, and like I've said, if you look at pictures of this man, and I'm looking forward to looking at highlights, the dude looks like a LeBron James, and he's 17 years old. That's highly impressive, and he's going to a school
Whoa, LeBron James.
Which will be really interesting, Rhett. The fact that he is going to a school like LSU, not known for getting high draft picks and like getting them to the NBA, I don't know how much that will affect. I see him certainly leading this team, but will it affect him being like number 1, number 2, maybe? But I still see him having the best chance, and that's really what I've got to stick with for sure. Ben Simmons. He's a brick. And
House.
That's right. He's the one, the only one that will really make the NBA. Yeah, that's
Shout.
That's what we're going with. A little disagreement, Rep, but close enough to where we can say agree to disagree. It's always acceptable when that happens with us. Let's just put it that way. But there's your top 5 2015 high school basketball recruits. Interesting to see how they will pan out and who will be in the draft order the following year. How close will it be? That's what we'll be up against, really. But I like it, Rhett. I like going a little different direction and talking about some high school for the first time.
Exactly. Me too.
Good deal. Well, let's get into this last segment here as we're going to go a little over, but you know what? That's due. It's due to go a little over whenever we've been a little behind and making you guys wait another week, all right? So we're going to load you with some more information, some more sports talk, because this one this one gets real juicy. And I feel like Red's going to be disrespectful, and we're going to have a lot of disparity here. Like I feel like every top 5 we will. But obviously, NFL offseason's really heating up as it's August, and the preseason's going to be starting very, very soon. Football's right around the corner, so it's taking over, and the headlines are up, and we're going to talk some NFL football. And we're going to start with number 5, Rhett, as we're going through the top 5 tight ends in the NFL this next year. I'm going to start. We're going to have so much disparity, I can already tell. Who is your number 5 going into this next year at tight end?
All right, you ready?
No, I'm not. I sense the disrespect. Who you got?
All right, Martellus Bennett from the Chicago Bears.
I don't even know what I'm glad you put him in there. That's respectful in the sense. So I can. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, gosh, you totally got me off track, Kyle. I thought you were about to go off on me.
Gotcha.
Oh, goodness. All right, Bennett led all tight ends in receptions with 90, with Jay Cutler throwing. So, 2 big receivers for the Chicago Bears. But, number 3 ranking, 916 yards from last year. It's not too bad, not too shabby. More to come. So, I had to give him some respect.
Bear down, Chicago Bears. I'm glad you did, and you'll hear his name again, just not as disrespectful as number 5. Though I'm glad that you put him in there, as he did deserve it, but was number 1 by that tight end position last year in rankings. But Rhett, my number 5. I hate to do this, and you may think I'm being respectful with this, and I can guarantee I don't know if people would, he's down there in the statistics list, and
good God,
who knows if they
disrespectful?
Who knows if they'd have him in
my
there?
God,
But I'll tell you what, I had to put the frickin' witty Cowboys in here at number 5 and give them the respect that they do, and that's this man, Jason Witten. The veteran that he is, I'm putting in at number 5 because he is very productive for the Dallas Cowboys. And though he had a mediocre 64 receptions, granted they had Murray with the running game and Des Bryant the main target, he still got a lot of targets. But 64 receptions, 703 yards, not eye-popping numbers. He had 5 touchdowns.
So you're telling me now that they got DeMarco Murray gone, he is not going to be a big target this upcoming season, and he's going to be making some big plays.
No,
I'll tell you what, for the Dallas Cowboys, he is one of the go-to men to go to on that team.
No.
He is a clutch player.
No, I'm telling you that I do because I put him in the top 5.
And a disrespectful top 5.
No, at a realistic one. He was 8th in the league last year with tight ends. So
I've got to
put it down. Here's the other thing I'm taking into consideration. He's getting older. He's had some health issues. He came back last year after that ruptured spleen hit that he had, and he really gutted that out. But that's not going away. That's still there. You know, he's a guy that, like I said, getting older, getting a little frail. Takes one too many hits, and the man might be boo-boo out for a few games. So I'm giving him respect to put him in at number 5 because I think he will get more targets. But I don't think
Kyle.
I don't think he'll stay. I don't think he'll stay healthy every single game all year.
He will.
I don't think he'll play in every single game. So I'm taking that into consideration. I just think that number 5 is fitting for this man. Can't stand it. Who's your number 4, Rhett?
Well, we were close, Kyle. I feel like I'm even being a little disrespectful. But I'm putting Jason Witten as my number 4.
He was calling me disrespectful, and he's got him one ahead of me. You got to love it, folks.
Still disrespectful.
His own Cowboys,
Kyle.
A little biased.
Now, if you want to look at this, 64 yards, or 64 receptions, 703 yards. We want to go back to Bennett. 90 catches, 916 yards. He would have got the ball more. Tell you what, he would have blown Bennett out of the water.
He also had a lot better of a quarterback throwing to him. And had a lot more.
Here we go.
And the Bears had 2. The Cowboys had only one main big target besides that. The Bears had
great.
At least 2.
Cole Beasley's great.
So that's what impressed me about Bennett, which I'll get to, is that he was considered the third man of a target there, and the tight end position is key. But he wasn't even close to the first target on that team, and had a quarterback who was throwing it more to the opposite team than it was to the home team. Not good stuff. But yes, please continue on, Rhett, with why you think that your hated Cowboys deserve to have Jason Witten in at number 4. You little bias.
Oh, it's not being biased, buddy. I have realistic belief that with, DeMarco Murray out this coming season, Jason Witten is going to be making some big moves at that tight end position. Kyle Newman. 64 catches, that's more like going to be around 75, 80. I got faith. He's going to be great. He's going to stay healthy, and he's going to be one of the leaders for the Dallas Cowboys next year. I'm putting it on paper right now.
You do that.
Love me some Witten.
I'm glad you love your Cowboys.
One of the best tight ends to ever play the game of football.
Hardly. All right, my number 3. Bear down, Chicago Bears.
You mean
That's
number
right.
4?
No, my number 3. Yes, my number 4.
Yeah,
I'm off.
It's your number 4.
Oh, jeez. No, he deserves higher than that. He's not my number 4. My number 4.
Down.
My number 4. That's a little Panther, Rhett, and that's
Probably
for
should
the
got it.
ex-Chicago Bear. So actually it was fitting because he was a Chicago Bear. I wish he still was with them. That'd be two dynamic tight end duos. Greg Olsen from the Carolina Panthers is my number 4. This man was third for ranking tight ends this past year. He had 84 receptions for 1,008 yards. He had 6 touchdowns and only fumbled once. And he helped lead the Panthers to a nice run into the playoffs, and he's a big reason why. Basically, it's the second target for Cam Newton besides Kelvin Benjamin. This guy is incredible, and he was in Chicago. He has been his whole career, and I think he's going to continue those same numbers as Cam Newton's going to continue to hit him up. Kelvin Benjamin had struggled a little bit with injuries, and Greg Olsen stays healthy. And he just keeps putting up impressive stats as he's even getting older. So, number 4 is my Greg Olsen.
No, all right. Kyle, I see it. I see you. All right, my number 3. Rob Gronkowski.
Wow.
Just kidding. Greg Olsen, Carolina Panthers. Greg Olsen joined the Carolina Panthers since he joined 2007, I believe, after he had his departure with the Chicago Bears. So
No,
he had
wasn't
80.
that long.
Wasn't
No.
his arrival to the Chicago Bears in 2007. All right, so he was with the Bears in 2007. So it was just a couple of years ago. All right. But anyway, he reached his highest career last year with 1,008 receiving yards, 84 catches, 6 touchdowns, tying his career. He was one of 3 tight ends to play more than 1,000 snaps. He hasn't missed a game since his rookie season. Now that is impressive, Kyle.
It's extremely impressive, and he's been the reason the Panthers have been making the playoffs and making their runs. Much deserved. And just an all-around great guy. I'm a big fan of Greg Olsen. He carries himself phenomenally on and off the field. Well-deserved there. As my number 4, almost could have had him switched at number 3 too. I appreciate you giving him the respect though. But my number 3 is Bear Down, Chicago Bears, and that would be Martellus Bennett. Well deserved, phenomenal Bear. Led the league last year, number 1 overall at the tight end position, statistic wise. 90 receptions, as we mentioned, 916 yards, had a crappy quarterback throwing to him, 6 touchdowns, didn't fumble once, and was healthy, and he was at least the number 3 target on that team. He's a solid player that takes care of the ball, and he's a big target, and I think he'll be more of that for the Bears this year. Cutler will be better. It's his last straw in Chicago. He will be getting a lot of receptions. There's no doubt about it. And with Brandon Marshall gone, Alshon Jeffrey's probably going to be the number 1 target for sure for them. Bennett will be number 2, and it's going to be impressive what happens going forward. Not to mention that the great Kevin White, the rookie out of West Virginia, is going to really help add to the Bears. The Bears are going to have one of the best offenses in the league. Matt Forte being back at running back, it's going to be impressive. So, yes, Martellus Bennett's going to be a big reason for the Bears' success on offense. Number 3.
All right, disagree, but hey, whatever floats your boat.
We can agree to disagree, Rhett. That's right.
All right, my number 2, Jimmy Graham.
Wow.
Jimmy Graham. He played for the Saints last year, had a bit of a down season for him. 2014, he played in all 16 games, but his receiving was 889 receiving yards, was his lowest in 4 years. All right. Despite being 5th most among tight ends, and despite 85 receptions, he still managed 10 touchdowns and 8 catches of 20 yards or more. Impressive. Now, Drew Brees did have an off year. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Very off year.
But will Russell Wilson, now that he's a Seattle Seahawk, how's this gonna play off? Is Russell Wilson gonna be able to get him the ball like Drew Brees could?
Yeah.
Is Russell Wilson that good of a quarterback?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Even more will he be able to get him the ball, but I'll be getting to that. The great Super Bowl champion quarterback Russell Wilson is a phenomenal guy. Oh, Rhett, don't be disrespectful.
He's not that great. He's a good guy.
Please.
He's a great guy, but he's not that good.
Not that good. Good enough to lead the Seahawks to the 2 consecutive Super Bowls. And
he's not that good, Kyle.
Yeah, you're wrong.
It's relying
no
on his
one
defense.
agree with you.
Relying on the defense.
No.
Actually, I had this discussion the other day, and both of them agreed with me. So.
Well, they don't know football then. Anybody who says that Russell Wilson is not good, that's asinine, because everyone knows
good.
That the
he's
leader.
Good. He's not a great quarterback.
He's a great quarterback. He is. He is as great. He's not as great as Andrew Luck, but he is great.
He's not Drew Brees.
He is a Super Bowl champion quarterback, and the only reason they were a Super Bowl champion
he's not. I don't think he's a great passing quarterback.
And a returning. Have you seen the throws this man makes?
Not the best.
For 5'10",
you
can't even see over the center, and he drops dimes to his receivers. Rhett, you need to go back and watch the footage of Russell Wilson. He's probably one of the best passing quarterbacks in the NFL. But I'm going to get to that with Jimmy Graham, because we are in disagreement with our order here. When I'll get to my number 2, and that's Rob Gronkowski. As much as I hate this man, as much as I cannot stand this man, I am a respectful, realistic, objective person when it comes to analyzing this. And yes, he is number 2 for me because he's proven it, the Super Bowl champion that he is. Even through his injuries, just seems to come back and really just put up phenomenal numbers and ultimately be the number 1 target, no doubt, for Tom Brady. This man was 4th in rankings in tight ends this past year, and that was with being injured still a little bit, coming back from the previous year's injury. 82 receptions, 1,124 receiving yards, the most out of all tight ends. He had 12 touchdowns, no fumbles, and he had 19 20-plus yard catches. That is absolutely insane numbers. There's just no other way to put it. Insane sums it up for me. And even yet, when he broke his forearm the previous year, the man played with one arm and was still dominating. And so the respect has to be due here to give credit to where it's due. He deserves to be at number 2 in my eyes, in the top 5. But yes, Rob Gronkowski, the reason the Patriots, the cheaters they are, were Super Bowl champions, he was the large part in that. In fact, they wouldn't be if it wasn't for him. So, yes, he's going to continue the same success this next year, even with Tom Brady being suspended the first 4 games, which needs to be 12. But he definitely is still going to put up those numbers. Whoever's at quarterback, I don't even know who their backup is, and I don't care. But it's not. They're still going to find a way to get him the ball. And when Tom Brady comes back, it's back to number 1 target. But my number 2, Rhett. Who's your number 1? I guess I can take a guess.
Oh yeah, you can. All right. You were a little disrespectful, Kyle, and I'm not very fond of that.
Agree to disagree.
But Rob Gronkowski, New England Patriots. You're telling me the guy with 1,124 yards, better than any tight end by 100 yards, averaged 74.9 yards per game, 12 touchdowns, incredible. Incredible, Kyle.
Yes, it is.
That's actually just disrespectful to even say that he's not a number 1.
I got a better number 1.
You're going to put Jimmy Graham, and that's just pathetic. But, yeah, he's my number 1. He's a Super Bowl champion, and he deserves it. because what can I say? His stats say it all.
Yes, they do. And yes, I do have Jimmy Graham at number 1, who definitely deserves it. Coming off a year where Drew Brees had a serious decline this past year, the man still managed to be number 2 for tight ends, right behind Martellus Bennett, with 85 receptions, 889 yards, 10 touchdowns. You want to talk about impressive? That's impressive for a team that didn't even make the playoffs. Still was relevant. I'm going off of what he did previous years and his success and how young he's only 28 years old. But previous years, I mean, just topped the NFL's receiving. The year before, 1,215 receiving yards, 16 touchdowns. Incredible. The year before that, 982. The year before that, 1,310. This man has been dominant, and he's been the face of the tight ends in the NFL. Deserves to be number 1. And what was icing on the cake for my pick was him going to the Seattle Seahawks. He's going to Super Bowl champs, looking to complete 3 straight years going to the Super Bowl. It's been a long time since that's happened. He's going to a team where one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and yes, I am saying Russell Wilson is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, is going to be throwing him the football. And they lost Golden Tate, so Jimmy Graham is going to come in there, and you're going to receive passes from a great quarterback that's going to get you the ball a lot and is a big target down the field, is going to be the number 1 target in the end zone. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with for the Seahawks, and I see it working out well for Seattle because of who they have leading that team at quarterback on offense. And the duo will be there much like it was with Drew Brees. Jimmy Graham and Russell Wilson will become bestest of friends. My number 1, Brett Hensley.
All right. Well, agree to disagree.
You betcha. I always love doing it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And that's where we leave it. That's where we leave it tonight. We've gotten through our top 5. A little bit of disparity like I predicted, but not as bad as I thought. They were still pretty close. We had some of the same players in there. That's always good. That's always good. Absolutely. Well, that is all that we have for today. To recap what we talked about, NBA offseason news, Ronda Rousey's career, top 5 high school basketball recruits 2015, and the top 5 tight ends in the NFL 2015. Thank you for tuning into our show. Feel free to leave feedback as we want to be able to address comments and questions on the show. Tweet and retweet the show at Kyle M. Newman, at Rhett Hensley, and at Indiana Pacers Talk. We will try to be back at it next Monday by 8 Eastern Time, but don't count on it. From here on out, it's going to be random. We may not be able to do it every week. It may be here whenever we get the opportunity to, but nonetheless, we will be back, that's for sure. We love talking sports when we can fit it into our schedule. I'm Kyle Newman.
And I'm Rhett Hensley.
You all have a great morning. And go
This
sports.
Is the evening news.
What? Rhett hit me with a dud there at the last second. The evening news, I guess so, even though it's not evening. You bozo.
Oh, gosh, I love it.
You have a great rest of the morning, everyone. And sports, as always, number 1.
And you just had a mouthful.
Indeed, you